out caching again, checking up on one of my favorite caches, checking out some history, and checking out a new website. See where it goes on Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine.
Hi there, and welcome to Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine. I'm Icenrye. Thanks for watching. If you're new to the show, welcome to the family. What this is me, my video camera. I go out caching, film it, throw it together with a few hints, tips, and tricks, upload it to the internet so you can download and watch it at your own leisure. If you're a regular viewer, thanks for sticking around. I appreciate your viewership. So, what's new? Well, first off, my voice probably sounds a little poor this month. I seem to have come down with my annual fall cold. I blame it on the change of the season. Suddenly it's warm, and it goes from warm to cold, and the body can't quite handle it. So now I got this little bug, but I'm not going to let that stop me. I'll just sound a little gravelly this month. So what I've been doing lately? Well, a couple Fridays ago, I got together with some local geocachers, including the famous Mitzi dog, the man who brought geocaching to the city of Prince George. He's been down and out for the last year or so. He had a couple medical problems, but he's getting much better now, and it was really great to see him out and about. So what do we do? A bunch of us got together, we went out and we tracked down my buddy got a light cache. So this particular cache is a nighttime only cache. It uses these little reflectors called fire tacs that are available off the internet at firetacs.com. And so what you do is you shine a light, actually hold it at head level. You're walking around like this with a flashlight all the time, and it's just a game of connect the dots. Well, there've been a few logs where these tacs have gone missing, so I decided to go out with a group of people, and sure enough, there's a couple tacs missing, so I just replaced them, and eventually everybody found the cache, and it was a great time. 9 of us out all together. It was a really wonderful time. So, you're probably noticing these lush surroundings here. This is the 3rd episode in a row that I've recorded here in the Icenrye studios. Now, traditionally I do like to record outside with some nice forests or, some good scenery in the background. However, this has been a terrible year for weather. It seems that every time a production day comes up, it's raining outside. And, well, this in the rain, just doesn't work. Caching in the rain you might be able to get away with, but rain and expensive video equipment, that doesn't happen. So, here I am, back in the studio, but hey, 1 month from now, there'll probably be snow on the ground, so I'll be able to go out and get some nice snow scenes. Also, it's been a ton of new caches here in Prince George. Fall is when things start picking up again. Spring is crazy. The summer, everybody goes camping or is out at the lake. In fall, people say, hey, let's get back to the sport. Let's get the caches before the winter comes. There have been tons of new caches. I've been having a great time finding them. And new people are hiding these caches, so it's really great to see the sport expanding here in the Prince George area. So anyway, that's enough chatter for now. Let's get on with some geocaching news. So first off in news, we have some great news. Parks Canada is now allowing geocaching within its boundaries. Now you may remember back in episode 14, that's the one where I wore the cowboy hat. Anyways, I went over Parks Canada interim policy on geocaching, and from what I've read, looks like most of the rules they sat down then, they're going with. So it's nothing too crazy. You just have to get your caches pre-approved by Parks Canada. They lay out certain rules for their containers and a bunch of other little stuff. Nothing too major. It's just good to see geocaching back in Parks Canada. Matter of fact, find out more information on the BCGA website. Next in news, I got an announcement about a great upcoming geocaching event all the way over in Sweden. The event's called Fumble After Dark, and its GC number is GC15153. Now the webpage right now is just in Swedish, so I don't know too much about it. From what they wrote me, it's a night caching competition. There'll be a series of caches that can only be found at night, and they'll take off. Whoever finds the most caches will win some great prizes. Introducing a new website, pgcachers.com, a website all about geocaching here in the Prince George area. The site was recently started up by Austinstad, Plumbrook Acres, and Stormcloud. Guys, good job. Keep it up. It's good to see someone starting to organize geocaching in the Prince George area. So if you want to find out about caching here, check out the website, pgcachers.com. There you'll find local news, local events, and stats on all the local Prince George area cachers. I'm actually in there somewheres. I have to check it out sometime and see where they have me. Episode 24 on paperless caching generated an enormous amount of viewers' mail. To all who wrote in, thank you. Most people wrote in with further tips on how to use CacheMate, and some of these tips weren't really good. Now, I haven't had time to go through and check them all out and play with them myself. However, I now have lots of material for another look at CacheMate to come up in a future episode. So stay tuned to Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine, and I'll show you lots of great stuff about CacheMate. Also, I heard from the creator of MacCaching, and he's coming out with a new version that should be out maybe by the time you read this, might be just a little bit after. He'll be coming out with a version 1 that'll actually take care of some of the problems I mentioned in my look at the program, and some really great features such as drag and drop, where you'll be able to simply take your zip file that you receive from Groundspeak and just drag it right into MacCaching, and it'll automatically expand and add the waypoints. I got a version running on my Mac now. I'm playing with it. It's a great program. I'm really becoming a fan of it. That about wraps it up for the news. Let's go watch some YouTube geocaching videos. This episode's YouTube video comes from TimeEdge, and it's titled A Starve Island Geocaching Adventure. And he writes, the Starve Island cache GCJEQ0 is on a small island in Lake Erie, 0.8 of a mile from South Bass Island. My friends and I did it in canoes after taking a ferry to the island. What the video doesn't show is the trip back where my canoe capsized and we had to perform a swamped recovery drill to drain the water and get back in. It was a blast! Read our logs. TimeEdge. Thanks TimeEdge for that great video. It was a lot of fun to watch. Too bad you didn't have an underwater camera. That canoe footage would have been really fun to watch. Anyways, that's this month's YouTube video. And if you have a geocaching video that's on YouTube that you like featured on Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine, send me an email, geoicenrye@icenrye.com, and if I like it, we'll bring it up in a future episode. That wraps it up for the preliminaries. Let's get on with the main events. But wait! You're asking about the iTunes comment contest? Who wins the geocoin this month? Well, I'm going to have to make you wait until the first segment. But that's coming up right here, so sit back and watch. So this month in our caching segment, I have a very special surprise for you. First off, we go and take a look at my Tour de World multicache. It's an 8-part cache where you have to go around, find signs, get some numbers, do a little math, which takes you to the final waypoint. And while on the way there, we're going to take a quick side trip to Firestone in the woods, Prince George's very first cache. It's quite a sight to see. Also, I'm going to feature a brief tutorial on a new website called Everytrail.com. So what Everytrail.com allows you to do is upload the track data from your GPS. The site will then take that data and place it on a Google map. So when you're all done, you'll actually see a map of where you traveled. It's a really great feature, and it's an excellent way of showing people a favorite hike of yours. In this case, it's my Tour de World, a little loop around one of our local parks to find a cache. So here we go, part 1 of 2 parts. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. I'm standing near the entrance of Forest for the World, one of the gem of parks here in the Prince George area. Now, this area has actually quite a few caches in this area. From here we have the first of the ShavedButtSheep series. We have Firestone in the Woods, which is Prince George's very first cache. And the one I'm going to be working on today is my Icenrye Tour de World, which is a multi-cache. Now what the cache itself does is it has you go and visit various waypoints in this park area where you have to get information off a sign. It's a typical multi-cache where you have to go read a sign, get some information, throw it into a mathematical formula, put it together, gives you the final set of coordinates which will take you to the cache location. What I'm trying out today, however, is a new Web 2.0 feature called Everytrail.com. And what Everytrail does is it allows you to use your GPS and upload your tracks. When you use your GPS, I should backtrack a bit. When you use your GPS, it actually records where you've been and keeps that in a little file that you can download onto your computer. It's called a track file. That's how the GPS can tell you where you've been. So if you've been out and if you're out camping somewheres and you're on a trail and you want to find out how to get back to where you started from, you can actually tell your GPS to work backwards and take you to where you came from. So what Everytrail.com does is allows you to upload the track file from your GPS, and then it takes that file and places it on top of a Google map. And then you can show the world an entire route that you're on. So what I'm doing today is I'm going to try out this feature, and I'm going to do some maintenance on my Tour de World cache. Now where I am now is a sign at the entranceway, and the first clue is actually just hiding behind me. So punch in the coordinates for the second clue. It's about 500 meters away, off in a different direction, so we got the animals with me. And we're going to go off and find it. And as we're doing that, the GPS will record the track. And then once I get back to the Icenrye studios, I'll be able to upload the data to Everytrail.com, and we'll see what we come up with. But anyways, we got about 500 meters to go back through the parking lot to find clue number 2 to the Tour de World final cache location. So we're off and running, and we'll check in with you when we get to the clue location. Well, we've reached a viewpoint. Boy, this place has really changed in the last couple of years. Used to be able to come up here, look out, see pretty much the entire city of Prince George, pulp mills and everything, but trees have grown, which is really strange considering the pine beetle epidemic in this area. And the trees are starting to obscure the view, but trust me, if you're tall enough, there's actually quite a view out there. But why are we here? Well, right behind me is an information sign. And you have to read that sign to get some information for the first clue. Actually, it's the second clue to the final coordinates of the Tour of the World. So we got the numbers, we've done the math, we punch in the next waypoint, and it's about 330 meters away through the camera. I forgot how much walking this involved, but I love it up here. This is a beautiful, beautiful spot. This time of the year, early fall in the central interior, colors are starting to change, the temperatures are cool, it's not too hot, and the mosquitoes are gone. Oh boy, this was a brutal year for mosquitoes. Anyways, I got 300 meters to go. The dog's getting anxious. Off the trail we go. Cool, there it is. So I've just found the next clue on the Tour de World. It's the signpost behind me. And what you have to do is you have to figure out the distance to the lookout, which is marked down here in meters. Oh, hang on a second. You can't read that? Oh, it's a little blurry, isn't it? I'll have to call the city and get them to remake that sign and make sure it's not so blurry that you can't read it anymore. Darn, you know? Anyway, so you take that number, punch it into the mathematical formula, come up with more coordinates for the final location of the Tour de World cache. So that's clue number 3. Clue number 4 is about 300 meters straight ahead of me. at least it's downhill now. So grab the dogs, we're off and running. Check in with you in about 10 minutes or so when we get to the next cache location. Oh, this way, guys. Look out. Okay, punch that in. So behind me is another mile marker. And again, as usual, you get the information, punch it into a formula, and you're slowly finding the location of the final cache. Now, there are 8 clues altogether. This is clue number 4, so we're about halfway there. And the next marker, it's about 100 meters just off in this direction. Now, as I'm going along, of course, all the waypoints are marked in the GPS, and the GPS is remembering where we've been. As a matter of fact, if I bring up the map function on my GPS here, let's zoom it in a bit so you can actually see something. Let's go out a bit because it's really zoomed in. Now let's hold that up to the screen. I don't know how well that's going to show, but you see that little dotted line there? That's our track. That's where we've been. So again, once we're done, we'll get back to the studios, and I'll show you how to upload this to Everytrail.com, and it'll actually draw this whole thing out on Google Maps, and it's a really, really cool effect. From there, I'll be able to add extra photos if I were to take some, and I could put in waypoints of all the different clues. Anyways, next cache is about 100 meters down the road. We're off and running. Let's go, guys. Here we go. Another sign. Now this sign behind me features various forms of wildlife that you can actually find here in the Forest for the World area. And trust me, most of them I've seen before, except the bear. I don't really want to see bears, if you know what I mean. So anyways, read the sign, punch in the formula. The next clue, clue number 6. This is the one where I really make you work. I had a lot of fun setting up this one. It is 500 meters away, and it's way the heck on the other side of the lake here. So we actually got to go back and around and do a little walking. So it's going to be a while, but it's a gorgeous spot over there. Sort of one of the little hidden gems of up here at Forest for the World. So the dogs are getting restless, and muggles are starting to ask them questions, wondering what the heck I'm doing here, standing talking in front of the camera with a handheld GPS in my hand. So anyways, we're off and running, checking you guys when we get there. Wow, what a view. Reflection Lake, one of the hidden gems up here at Forest for the World, location of clue number 6 of the Tour de World. Now this is the one I actually came up to check. There used to be a sign back there that told you about the lake and about some of the trees in here, and you needed to read that sign to get the clue. Well, unfortunately, the sign is missing. So I've been getting a lot of people who've been doing the entire loop, getting to this point, and there's no clue, and it kind of ruins the whole thing. So there's a bench here, and on the bench there's a dedication plaque. So I'll be getting information off that plaque, and you'll have to punch that into the formula to come up with the next set of coordinates. Anyways, yeah, 681, give or take, meters to clue number 7. So off this way, I make them do a nice little lap around Chain Lake. It's a beautiful, beautiful spot up here. If you're ever in French George, make sure you get the Forest for the World. Speaking of which, I just want to briefly mention a new feature on the geocaching.com website. You might see them on your cache page listings. They're called child waypoints. And what they are, they're just extra waypoints. And for this cache, they are so useful. What I can now do is on the cache description page, I can have the location of the 8 different clues and have them as waypoints included in the cache page. Now what happens when you're a premium member and you do a pocket query, when this cache downloads onto your file, not only will it have the coordinates of the start of the cache, which is where clue number 1 is, but it'll also have the 7 other clues. And because you can package information with the waypoints, it'll have the actual clue with the waypoint. Now, if you're into paperless caching, when you download everything, put it onto your PDA, you'll go through your list of caches, and you'll see a series of caches called Clue 1 through to Clue 8. Those are the 8 different clues for this cache. And it'll have the mathematical formulas, all the numbers will be right there. And if you're using something like CacheMate, you can go in and use the log function to type a note where you can do your math right on your PDA and keep track of your final coordinates. As for your GPS, when you're using GSAC on the PC, when you send the waypoints to your GPS, make sure you check off include child waypoints. What that'll do is it'll put all the child waypoints onto your GPS, so when you want to go from one stage to another stage, you won't have to manually enter them. You can simply say, go to clue number 6. In my case, I'm off to clue number 7, which is this way down the road. So I got animals with me. We're off and running. Come on, Roxy. Let's go, girl. Come on, Abel.
What's it gonna take you to see? What's it gonna take you to see?
That's it, I'm through, man.
Another signpost, clue number 7. Only one more clue to go. Wow, we've been doing a lot of walking. Been out here for a couple hours now, having a great time, meeting lots of people on the trails, and dogs are having a wonderful time, and fortunately haven't run into any bears yet. So, Roxy's anxious to go. The next clue is about 600 meters behind us, so we're off and running. What is it, Rox? So we've now approached the major intersection up here at Forest for the World. Ahead of me is a trail that will take you right back to the parking lot. Behind me is a trail we just came up, which will take you down to another major intersection, where from there you can hook up to more trails around the park, or the Greenway Trailway, which is about a 19-kilometer trail that starts off west of town out towards our Walmart and ends up all the way out towards Myworth at the Otway Ski Trails. However, the direction we're going in is this direction. Going slightly southwest from where I'm standing, heading towards the water tower, because that's the location, clue number 8. The final clue to our cache location. Anyways, it's about 100 meters away. Let's go. So I'm now at the location of the final clue. It's actually a sign on the water tank, which is directly in front of me, so it's not even in this shot. So you take something off that, do the formula, you know the routine. You now have all 8 numbers required to fill out the final coordinates for the cache location. From here, simply backtrack a little bit, go off into the woods, and show up with the ammo can. So I'm going to be doing that in a couple of seconds, but while I'm in the neighborhood, I'm going to give you guys a special treat. About 100 meters or so, it's just on the other side of this water tank. It's the very first cache ever placed in Prince George. It's called Firestone in the Woods. And since we're in the neighborhood, it's been a couple DNFs on it, so I'm in the neighborhood, we're going to go check it out. So, bonus caching action here on Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine. Firestone in the Woods by Mitzi Dog, Prince George's very first cache. Okay, we just found the tire. There's an actual Firestone tire out here in the middle of the woods. How he found it, I don't have the slightest clue. But anyways, that's what the cache is named after. Anyways, we're real close to the cache. Now comes the fun part, just finding it. Anyways, I've found it a couple times. I kind of know what to look for. Anyways, I'm going to go dig it up, and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, found it. Took a little bit of looking. It's not quite where it used to be. The cache was originally a fairly large Rubbermaid container, and over the ages it just wore out. So the cache owner just recently replaced it, but when they replaced it they also relocated it. It's just slightly off from where it used to be, but we found it in. Here it is. Firestone in the Woods version 2. Well, as I'm so fond of saying, let's pop this puppy open and see what's inside. Simple lock and lock. And since it's a brand new cache, it's, well, in fairly decent shape. Logbook. Couple little trinkets hiding in here. There's some kind of a Muppet thing. I don't follow the Muppets as close as I used to, so I don't know which one he is. Let's call it a Baby Kermit. I suppose what a frog really looks like. Anyways, we're going to sign up the logbook. Just let Mitzi Dog know that we're here and the cache is doing fine. And we'll head back to the water tank. We'll punch in the final coordinates for a tour of the world, and we'll show you what that one looks like. 2 caches for the price of 1. Up here at Force for the World in Prince George. Alright, so here it is. Tour of the world. Final cache. Good old-fashioned ammo can. Let's see what this thing's looking like this week. A little empty on the inside, actually. Geocaching note and logbook. Various swag items. There's actually still a gold medal in there from the original cache. And here we have, it's like a little radio. No travel bags hanging out here this week. Oh well, they're all on the road. So anyways, what we do now is head back to the Icenrye studios, where we'll download the track data from the GPS, and I'll show you what to do to make this stuff look good. We'll fire up Everytrail.com and go from there. See you guys back at the studio. So it's a nice hike. We found the cache. Everything's in good shape. Now we have all that data on our GPS receiver. What to do with it? Stick around for part 2. I'll show you how to use the Everytrail.com website. But first, we got a geocoin to give away. It's time for the iTunes comment contest. It's time for the iTunes Comment Geocoin Giveaway Contest. First off, I'd like to thank everyone who's made a comment on iTunes. They've been great. And because of all the comments, Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine has been rising in the ranks in the technology category on iTunes. We're now actually in the top 50 of all technology podcasts on the US iTunes Store. For that, I thank you guys. So this month I have a very special prize. I have this Geo Woodstock 5 coin along with the Season 1 and 2 box set. This coin was given to me by Geocase winners from last month. Guys, thank you for this coin. I'd love to have one of these myself. Anyway, time to draw the name. So we'll reach into my geocaching.com hat here. And this month's winner of the special Geo Woodstock coin and Season 1 or 2 box set for their comment on iTunes is Black Cat 96, one of my regular longtime viewers. Serving in the U.S. military, I hope things are going for well. Anyways, Black Cat, get a hold of me, GeoIcenrye at Icenrye.com. Let me know where to send the stuff, and I'll get it off in the mail. And hopefully you'll enjoy your coin and the box set. So earlier in today's episode, I showed you the tour around the park and how the GPS records the data. And now it's time to hop on the computer and upload it to the website. Here's part 2 of my tutorial on Everytrail.com.
So we're back at the Icenrye production studio now, and I'll show you how to upload your track file to Everytrail.com, where it'll take it and put it on a Google Map. So first you got to run over to Everytrail.com. Here's the site here. So you have to create an account. It's free, doesn't take a whole heck of a lot. I've already signed in, so we're going to skip a couple of steps. So what you want to do is you want to create a trip. Simply click there. Now it already has some active logs loaded up, but I'm going to upload a new track file. Browse. Now I've already downloaded the track file for my GPS onto this computer. Just open it up. Click upload and away it goes. So once it's finished uploading the track file, you'll see this loading, and what it's doing is it's drawing the entire track file onto a Google map. Now the portion we're interested in is this little bit here. However, the way the track file works is it stores data for the entire trip. So all this stuff was just me driving around town, checking out some of the caches, and I don't want that to be part of this final file. So what do? Well, it's very easy. Over here, you'll see where it says tracks, and it's active log 077. Click on that, and there's a feature called Trim Track. Click there, and you can draw a box around an area of the track that you want to delete. You want to delete? Yes. So anyways, it takes a couple tries to get through and get rid of everything. So I'll just go through, I'll clean it up, and then we'll come right back and I'll show you what it looks like when it's done. So after the track has been trimmed, this is our final product here. This is the track of the entire tour of the world. We start off here. This is actually the parking lot. Here's the first waypoint where we go up to the trail, to the lookout, out and about. This is number 5, I believe. 4 is here. Number 6 is over here, Reflection Lake. The water tower is right about here. And the final cache location, well, it's somewhere around here. But where is it exactly? That's why you have to do the tour. So once you're satisfied that the map looks good, simply click on Continue. So the next thing you can do is add a photo. So if I want to add some pictures here, I have different ways to do it. I can upload pictures, I can import pictures from Flickr, or I can add pictures from other users. Now I do have a picture of the Forest of the World entrance sign, so I'm going to import it from Flickr. So once you authorize Everytrail to access your Flickr photos, you'll be brought up with all your Flickr sets. Now, the particular set I'm looking for is down here. It's called Videozine Utilities. Click on that, and it should bring up the set. Scroll down here, and we'll have all the pictures in that set. The one I want to use is this one over here, the Forest for the World. Click Import. So once you've told it which picture to import, it's going to try and geotag it. Now, this particular picture has some really old data on it, so I'm not exactly sure what's going to happen. So we're just going to click on this and see what happens. Okay, it's actually giving me the ability to manually click on the map. So we're just going to zoom in on the map a bit. Pull it down to here, and the actual sign is right here. So we'll click there, and that's where the picture will go. When it's all done, click on Save. You're off to the next step. So once you've placed your picture, it'll return back to the Add Photo picture where you can add more pictures if you like. This is the only picture I have of this area, so we'll click on Continue. So the next page we come to is Tell a Story. And this page will allow you to enter details of this particular trip. Now what's really great about it is that it comes with a stats page. It'll tell you the total length, duration, speed, gives you this nice little graph here of all your vertical gain, and allows you to tell the story of what happened on this particular trip. And if you have any tips for other people's, it actually allows you to enter that too. So we'll go through, enter all that, and once you're done, click on Create Trip. So I'm going to fast forward ahead, I'm going to enter in some data, and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all done. So I've gone and entered all the information on this page. I've titled it Tour de World Cache Route. Gone in, added some tags, geocaching, GPS, a few other things, so they'll all be searchable by those words. Here I tell a brief story of it and give you a couple tips on the trail. Once it's all done, click on Create Trip. And that's it. And this is what the page looks like when it comes up. Has the name of the route. The map's all here. And if you want to see it in greater detail, you can click on this. It'll bring up a full page image. As always with Google Maps, you can always make it bigger, pull it around. This little blue dot here will show you the picture. Switch back to the trip view. And here we have all our stats, our elevation, distance and such. And here, if I'd like to place this trip on a blog or on my website, is the code already written for me. Just have to copy and paste that into the page, and you're good to go. So that's it. Everytrail.com, a really great website that can take data from your GPS and show you a map of where you went. Check it out at everytrail.com.
So what a great service. Finally can take something from your GPS and upload it somewheres, and it'll show you on a map where you actually went. That about wraps up another episode of Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine. I hope you enjoyed it. Now a couple quick things before we take off. Viewers mail. If you got something you'd like to say about the show, email me, geoicenrye@icenrye.com, or go to my webpage, icenrye.com, and click on the Contact Me link. Also, keep those comments coming on iTunes. I'm going to be running this contest for a little bit longer. I have a few more coins to give away. And I'm really enjoying reading the comments, reading what people have to say about Icenrye's geocaching Videozine. And it's getting a little higher ranked on iTunes. Maybe someday I can make it there on the front page along with this other geocaching podcast some of you might have heard about. It's called Podcaster. So in the meantime and in between time, that's it. Another episode of Icenrye's geocaching Videozine. I hope you enjoyed it. So until the next episode, cache on.